You need to scare yourself in the car. If you're not scaring yourself in the car, you're not going fast enough. And it wasn't that I got into the sport, it's the sport got into me. I actually teach the art of driving. JamSpeed Racing, the art of driving. During those periods, 50% of all the circuit racing champions came through my program. It didn't start from winning championships. It started from thinking that you were good enough and being reminded that you're not.
I saw you beat an R5. And it
didn't seem that it was perfect.
Cut to the footage, I'll share it with you. I have two things I can do. I can go in a shell, or I can come out of my shell. Your natural talent carries you somewhere. It's what you do with it that carries you everywhere else you go.
All right, viewers, welcome to Hayman's Market on top of a Radara electric truck with Teach Mcfarlane. You are somewhat of a mythical figure in motorsport.
Okay, right. I don't know how to take that.
Because I think we first encountered you in, like, when was it, 2017?
Yeah, 17. Yeah, 17, 18, 19. Definitely 19 for sure.
Yeah. And you were just like top 5 drivers I've ever seen in my life.
Top 5?
Quickly became top 2. That was only the first time.
Top 2?
Yeah, top 2. Is you and Jeffrey tied at the moment?
Don't listen to this.
Yeah. So I never really knew a whole lot about how you actually got to the position you're at today. I just know you're a really good driver. You have crazy connections in motorsport. You have a whole lot of experience, and you're a great teacher. So we just wanted to learn more about the teach behind Chris Mcfarlane.
Well, hi viewers. How are you doing? I'm the mythical creature, as they say. You know, I think that's the first time I've ever been called a creature. Mythical too, but putting them together is kind of like, all right, cartoon caricature right here now.
An animal behind the wheel.
Yes. It's been a journey. So yeah, I do remember, we were actually talking about it earlier. I do remember meeting you guys through Vikram, through Avinash.
Yeah.
In 2017, I think you'd come and you helped at one event, and then it became 2 events, and you guys fast became from, you know, the difference between an enthusiast to somebody who's an enthusiastic humans to people who became enthusiasts, who then became, look at you know, you're getting the word out for whatever it is.
Obsessed
So,
at this point, yeah.
so, you know, it's, you guys started from your dream you had, which is, and I just want to be around motorsports. And then that's led you to know speaking about motorsports, and persons like myself making as much time as you want to talk to you about motorsports. And that's kind of an analogy for how a lot of people in the Caribbean got started in this sport.
Yeah.
It may have been, you know, through a friend, through a family member who used to do something and doing all of that. And then it is now, you know, they started to do something small, then it kind of mushroomed, and then it blossomed into, you know, wherever you see a lot of us today. So, you know, before we speak about my journey, I want to thank you guys for being a part of my journey when I just moved to Barbados. You're part of like a little core team. You'd helped me out at, I think, one of my first big events.
Yeah.
You were there. You actually helped out the first Bima Cup event.
You mean when I was your only crewmate?
Yes.
And I didn't know how to jack up a car.
We can edit that out. He jacked it up really well. He was good, like real good. No. But it still struggles to this day. Okay, so
it's a sore point.
The opportunity for us as the more senior people in the sport is seeing persons like you, because a lot of us would have had persons like you, or we'd have been you at some time in our career.
Right.
So for us, it's, you know, I can go back and I can remember when I was the same enthusiastic person as a teenager. Then I became a proper enthusiast. Then I became a part of wherever the real journey began. Yeah, so before we even kick off, thank you.
I appreciate that. That means a lot. We probably we might not have made it here without some of your influence. So it's a full circle moment.
Yeah. And it's the big, I may have been a part of it in a certain period, but it's every single person who you've touched. I literally, and I know this is not the direct question, but I can go back and I can literally name by name and even give you stories about each person who's helped me through my journey. Good, bad, and indifferent, because some people help you by hurting you. Some people hurt you and it challenges you. And because you're challenged, you're like, all right. You want to be rude. You want to be disrespectful. So, I have two things I can do. I can go in a shell or I can come out of my shell. So, everybody in your journey, never ever forget them. And this is one thing I will tell anybody who started. Even if they did you dirty, never forget them for the good they did when they did you dirty. Everything's a learning, and everything is a learning experience, and everything is a lesson. Sometimes you have the lessons that just teach you to remain and do what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you have the lessons that are very hard to swallow, but it was a lesson and it's what you take out of it. Anyway, enough of that.
I don't know. This is one of the reasons why I was excited to get you on the podcast, because more than just being someone that strives to excel in racing, you really strive to excel in all areas of life, and you bring a certain mentality that's almost infectious. Yeah, like you have a conquering energy towards goals and spreading positivity, and I really respect and appreciate that.
So it comes from, my son asked me a long time ago, why did I get into the sport, or some question similar to that. Can't remember exactly what. And it wasn't that I got into the sport; it's the sport got into me. And
it's a good way to put it.
It's motorsports, and there's a running joke for since hashtags were invented. Hashtag because race car. Like I can literally align everything in my life that I have good now because of a race car. You mentioned Jeffrey, my good friendship with Jeffrey, because race car. Well, it was because race car, then it was because football with my son, and then it fast came back to because race car. So I would have met Jeffrey many moons ago at Rally Barbados 2004. I would have filmed him when I was filming, 2007, beg your pardon. I'd have filmed him, and he was a myth. He was a legend. He's T10. He's who he is. And, we came to Barbados 2004 watching. He was in the actual T10 that year. And then 2007, we came back. He was driving the Datsun. And he and Lord, you're going to kill me. Lucasade on the side of the car. Drifter. No longer drifting, winning everything. No, really good driver.
I know the car you're talking about. I can't remember who drove it.
I remember it. The Lucasade.
We'll edit it in. Don't worry. They'll know.
Both of them were doing tandem drifts through the stages of Rally Barbados. Jonesy, the one and only Jonesy. I apologize, my friend, but absolute talents, doing stuff absolute together, entertainment galore.
Right.
And when I saw him when we moved here in 2012, when we moved here in 2012 and I saw him, it was more that's Jeffrey. Oh, that's Teach. Our sons were playing football together, and we started chatting, and then there was other persons who were from the motorsport community in the same group of young footballers, well, parents of the young footballers.
Okay.
And then we became fast friends.
Yeah.
Coming out of that. So everything's because race car. I can carry back to my wife because we have the race car. I can carry back to, again, the trials, the tribulations, and some of the legendary moments that I've had and that I've created for other people because of that first, again, motorsport got into me. Motorsport was always there. It just infused me with everything I was doing. And the never give up attitude that you see, that is that belief that you can always do it better. Even if you're the best, even if you've won everything, you can still do it better. So you win a championship, how do I win it better next year? How do I represent myself better next year? But it didn't start from winning championships. It started from thinking that you were good enough and being reminded that you're not. And not taking it as a slap in the face, but actually taking it as a learning experience. So, I literally can go on for hours. I hope you have enough battery in that thing because the journey to where I've come now is not just me on the journey. And, you know, I've had tremendous help from some of the biggest names in motorsport, some of the unknown names in motorsports. And a lot of the unknown names you see in motorsports are like sponsors we actually have in Jamaica sponsors who've never been to a race and sponsor about 12, 15 cars almost every single event. And they've never seen one run. So, you know, again, when you start to remember those kinds of people is when you never forget the good that people do, even though it doesn't benefit them directly.
Okay.
So anyway, I can go on and on. I'll leave that.
Liam and I had the idea of inviting you to this podcast from the moment we thought of doing podcasts, right? And it is because of how influential you were to our career and our being interested in cars. And I guess I would share one of the most impactful moments where I saw you beat an R5. And it.
I didn't see that. I just heard them.
Cut to the footage. I'll share it with you.
That moment, I remember the day quite well, where the R5 showed up and like we were flabbergasted to see if this thing is actually going to drive or if it's just going to be there for the big second
It's like the States. This is autocross where we usually see cars like
correct.
It's a big deal.
So Andrew and Adam showed up in their car. As usual, Teach, you're doing your thing. We're feeling out the run, just having fun. And I still remember a little bit of how the times fell, whereby Andrew went out, did a thing, you went out, and you had a better time than Andrew at the first run. Adam had a really bad time the first time he went out. Andrew went out, top time sheets. When Adam went out, destroyed every other time. It was a significant drop. I don't know the exact times anymore. And then by run 3, you just decided, forget the street tires, go on your race tires, and I think it was run 4 was your fastest time of your day. And it obliterated everything else. And when you did the run, at that time you had deleted one of the parts of the exhaust, but still the car wasn't overly loud. And all you're hearing is wind from the blow off from where it's standing up. And you're hearing wind and just seeing car dancing. It was art. And I couldn't really capture on camera because of technical issues, but to see your driving style has always been art. It's a little bit of drift, a little bit of thing, but it's always been just art on display. I always liken it to imagining Speed Racer when he's going around the track and when he's flowing through the track, how the car is just spinning around, dancing. It doesn't seem out of control, it just flows. So
I am quite possibly the most boring driver you can find.
I've been in a car with you. That's not true.
So in the car it feels, but on the outside I'm a rally driver, and I'll give you some of the history in a bit, but I'm a rally driver. That's my thing. And rally drivers are known to be flamboyant, sideways, all of those things. And I have deliberately created a whole style of driving that does not impress anybody on the outside unless you're looking at the speed. So anytime you go sideways, you're losing speed. Anytime you have to put in a correction, as they say, you're losing speed because you're not heading in the direction you actually want to go. You're heading somewhere else, which is why it's called correction, which is why it's called opposite lock, so yeah, I am deliberately the most boring person, which is why you can't beat me consistently. You may get a 1 beaten, but you're not going to do it consistently because I actually do teach. So the name Teach comes from me having driving school, JamSpeed Performance Driving School, been in existence since 1998. When were you born?
99.
So before you were born. Oh my God. So Liam, before you were born, I already had my driving school. My first lesson, official lesson, was just before Rally Barbados 1997. Sorry, Rally Jamaica 1997.
Yeah.
Officially launched the school in 1998. And I still do training, still travel to Jamaica, train the United Nations drivers. I have probably about 13,000, 14,000 drivers over the Caribbean that I have trained.
Wow.
It's a big thing. Just a little bit on it, in 2007, 2008, 2009. During those periods, 50% of all the circuit racing champions came through my program.
So
40% of all the racers at Dover Raceway in Jamaica came through my program. We created street racing. You could actually take your street car and do rally events, rally sprint events in your street car in an official class. I'll share some of the footage with you so you can see it.
So you said it was called JamSpeed?
JamSpeed.
And that was like your company that you started yourself?
Correct.
Fully just your thing? Wow.
And
I had no idea.
Yeah, but that is where a lot of the disrespect started. And I want to be as clear and as crystal as I can.
Yeah.
That literally was where the disrespect to me, which made me who I am today, started. If I had to redo my life, I would do it exactly the same way, and I would want the disrespect that everybody showed me, because there was a lesson to it. So you're young, both of you are young, you're starting your careers. You're real young, my youth. I'm just saying,
yeah, well,
I just love the whole company long before you were born, months before you were born. Anyway, I was at the time in 1998. I would have been 23, 24, 23. I'm a 75 baby, so whatever that math works out to be. And I would have been pushing my driving school and going to all of the top drivers, the David Somerville's, the Jeffrey Pantons, the Doug Gore, Hollywood Gore, all of those things with my flyers going around. Richie Herrera, who to me is the super champion of the Caribbean, and saying, hey, I can make you faster. I can make you faster. I actually, on my flyer, if you can find one, I'll send it to you. I actually teach the art of driving. Yeah. It is actually called JamSpeed Racing, the art of driving. So, because it's a fundamentals. I get into.
You see why I call you a mythical figure now?
Yeah, it's a fundamentals. I am actually interested. I'm not interested in the speed. It's the fundamentals behind the speed. And if you nail the fundamentals, you're consistent. But I get into that. So where the disrespect started was, and rightfully so. So don't get me wrong. I'm looking back now, and as I say, I wouldn't want it any other way. Is imagine this young buck did a few events. Nobody knows who he is, really. Coming to all the top drivers and saying, hey, I can make you faster.
The audacity.
The audacity of this young man. Back then, I had on the back of my race car, Professor Mac. And my nickname, Teach, was given to me years later by a few people. One of them, kind of manifested itself. But one of them was Christopher Shim. I had 2 life lessons from a gentleman called Chris Shim. God rest his soul, an amazing human being. Short like a Chinese guy, drove a pink, a real Pepto-Bismol pink Starlet. Fast as hell. He was fast as hell. He was, but again, you're out there. So actually, there's 3 lessons. Because the third one was, if you're not fast, be seen. So, and have the prettiest car. They say you have to look good losing and look good winning. No matter what it is, you're looking good.
So is that why your Evo was orange?
The Evo was
strawn and then orange. You had some very interesting.
The Evo was
designs.
Orange because Jonathan, my son, didn't want it to be orange. So again, the disrespect, the audacity of telling me I can't put my car in orange.
Your car that you paid for with your own money?
With my own money.
How dare you?
Actually, it was the bank's money and I paid back the bank. But
well, yeah.
So Chris said to me, it was Chris and about 2 other people in the session at the time. We were down at a event and they said, no. You have to take that off the back of the car. And he went and he peeled the sticker off the back of the car and said, Professor. That said Professor Mac. He peeled it off. The disrespect. Whoa. Good friends, but the disrespect. He says, you have not earned the title of professor yet. So as of now, you are ye but teach. The disrespect. Now, I go into government offices and introduce myself as Chris Mcfarlane, and they don't know who I am. And I said, Teach, oh yeah, they're expecting you, go upstairs. So that is where it came from. But I didn't earn my title of Professor Mac. I was still too young. You don't say a professor who hasn't done anything huge in his life yet. So that was one big lesson he taught me. And that's the biggest lesson that I think has probably followed me in my life. It's earn what you want to be. Don't say you are. You can believe you are. You can say, I want to be, but you have to earn it. Don't ask for it. Don't beg for it. Don't, accept it if somebody just gives it to you. Earn it. That feeling of earning it yourself makes it completely different. Second lesson he gave me was in my race car. Again, short like a Chinese man. The most disrespectful human. You will find, love him to death. Everything. I'm hoping to meet him when I go to heaven and we will have quite a few laughs together. I loaned him, his car was down. I loaned him my Hyundai Accent GT. We tuned it. I spent about 4.5 hours on the dyno. 4.5 hours on the dyno and got about 8% across the entire range and 10% at peak power. It made 71 horsepower at the wheels. 71 at the wheels. Tuned. Tuned. So he and I were driving the car at an event. This was at a place called Moorlands in Montego Bay, just outside of Montego Bay, St. James. And he beat me. I did a 2-minute flat something, 2-minute flat 0.71, and he was down in the 1 minute highs. 1 minute 59. There was like a second, or just a second and a half, second and a quarter, half faster than me. And I said to him, dude, I was flat out. He says, yes, but you're missing one key thing, Chris. I said, what is that? He says, look up the hill. So I looked up the hill. I said, you see that white Suzuki Swift? I said, yeah. You see the Toyota Hiace parked beside it? I said, yeah. I said, those are my two cars. The difference between you and me is I knew how I was getting home. You drove your race car to the event.
Another thing Jeffrey has told me is the fastest car is a rental car, the car that you don't want.
This car is a rental car. So he borrowed my car and he had no interest in how he was getting home because he knew he had his two cars in the parking lot. He said, my caution, I didn't even know I was throwing caution up because every time I would going and something happened, I was walking home. In the back of my mind, I'm walking home. And the last thing he said to me on that is, but you do know I would have carried you home because you live close to me, right? Since that day, anything I drive, my car, your car, anybody's car, I have no fear writing it off. I have no fear writing it off because I know I will get home. And those are the life lessons. Like, people fear a lot subconsciously. And the fear of not pushing you, not going to the end because you don't know what's going to happen next. It stops a lot of people in the tracks. Even when you are pushing, you're pushing as hard as your brain is going to tell you to push. Like your brain is going to say, go, 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 go.
What is a tad ironic about that is I had that thought or realization last night, whereby my mom asked me to change some settings on the TV. I thought to myself, why don't you just figure it out? Like, why don't you just press that button thing? That's how I learned how to do it because I didn't have the fear of breaking it.
Yep.
And I thought to myself, is that why I'm so slow driving the car compared to Liam? Liam doesn't have the fear as much as I do of.
Don't leave me hanging. Don't leave me hanging. Don't leave me hanging.
Is that like he doesn't have fear as much as I do?
You think a little Subaru would drive faster with him?
We proved it.
Yeah.
You're going back to back on track.
Is 4 seconds worth of time right now.
So like he need to come to the art of driving classes. That sounds like that's what you need.
And I thought if you start young and believing that you don't need to fear doing the thing, that's when you naturally get better at the thing where you're past the initial limitations of if I do this, I might do this. you've already known what naturally what you meant to do, so you can build upon that a whole lot faster. And then I started thinking about Jeffrey and Daniel, whereby Daniel is faster than Jeffrey in some situations, and I just all that stuff I thought about last night.
And it creates for us as humans that wall is an invisible wall, and sometimes we don't even know it's there. For example, you guys are now podcasters. Easy?
Yeah.
Natural?
No.
Huh?
Well, I mean, it's all a mentality. It's like, what do you define in your head as normal, natural, easy?
Yeah.
I would have never thought I'd be doing a podcast a year ago, but here we are. And now it's like, yeah, well, it's just a thing we do now. Even though it's kind of weird still getting used to it, but you put yourself in a certain mindset. We're just here.
And it just works.
Yeah.
Now the creation of your next step comes from not having fear about today. So there's another saying that I have. It's called "Today is tomorrow's reason." And I actually have it at my house. I made from a Barbados artist. I had him go and do a whole plaque at the house. Today is tomorrow's reason. Whatever you do today is the reason why tomorrow works or doesn't work. So you put in preparation into a podcast, the podcast will come out good. You don't put in preparation into a podcast, the podcast will come out good. You understand exactly where I am?
Yeah.
But is good enough? Is good the outcome you're looking for?
Yeah.
You can naturally, there was literally no preparation. Nick look said, can we do a podcast? To say when he said, I say, meet me at Heyman's, sit down in the radar and we'll do something. All right, and this is natural. Could it have been better if we planned it? Yeah, probably have background noise here. You're hearing the birds. But you know what happened? We did it.
Yeah.
So you take the first step to do it. But the next time you do it, you're then going to say, okay, based on what I did here today, could I do it better tomorrow? And that's what makes tomorrow better. It's not the fact that you didn't do it. It's the fact that, thinking about how do I take the lesson out of today? Even if this becomes your biggest podcast ever, can I do it better tomorrow? And what made this one so good? And it goes. So I race cars. I film everything. I think I've asked both of you at some point to hold a camera and film something for me.
Yeah.
And I've also asked you to film other people, correct?
Yeah.
No, not just me. Do you know what? And it's not luck. And it's not luck. It's not innate talent. It's not anything. I win more than I lose. I win. For every one time I lose, I've won probably 9 times. No, it wasn't like that before. So it's because I've worked to get there.
Yeah.
But how I get to that point is that I record myself. Everything I do, I record myself in a motor car. And I learn and I go back, and if I win or I lose, I'm looking back at myself and I'm with a critical eye. What did I do good? What did I do okay? What did I try that I could do better? And what did I fail at? And I'm more critical when I win than when I lose.
Yeah.
Of myself when I lose. Reason being, if I'm doing something well, I need to remind myself of what that was. So I repeat that. If you do something good, you want to repeat that, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you don't even know that you've done something good. For example, using the handbrake at places where you think you should use the handbrake versus not using it. Does it make you faster? Does it make you slower? You still won. So the outcome you won. But now when you're going with a critical eye, you're like, shoot, I need to not be using it there or using it. And I'm just using the handbrake. I need to using a little less left foot there, more left foot there. And I'm now critiquing my own driving as a champion.
Right. And that's what really separates good from great.
No, great from exceptional. Good is a natural setting for persons who have an innate ability to do stuff. Great are those people who take that innate ability and put a lot of work in. Exceptional are those people who go down, and I'm coming back to the word, the art behind what it is. Now, in that same breath where I'm recording me and I ask you to record other people, if you beat me, Leo, I am looking at your tape 400 times because I'm going to figure out why you beat me. Not that you're not supposed to beat me. I just want to know how you beat me.
Yeah.
And so you've beaten me fair and square. Love it. And this is the thing with me and Jeffrey. We're always half a second behind each other.
Yeah.
And one thing Jeffrey did get from me, a couple of things, but one thing that was very evident, and I had to call him out on it, is he took this look at other people and learn from others. Like, ask the question to yourself, why is Liam faster than me? So I was beating him by half a second, almost up to half a second. It wasn't half a second. Sometimes we separated by under a tenth, to the point where we actually got electronic timing mandatory for autocross because our gaps were within 4/10 of a second so much that
That was not always the situation.
no, it was hand timed.
Yeah.
Autocross in Barbados was hand timed.
Yeah, I remember back when we were competing, that's how we used to do it.
Yeah.
No?
And Jeffrey and I fought to get, not fought, we lobbied, because I want fighting makes it sound like it wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Lobbied, and Jeffrey Goddard went and got the timing equipment from the thing, and Jason Downey and Stuart Garcia and all those guys came together and made electronic timing, and I think my wife would come and help, my son would come and help and all that, because it required more than one person because of how the setup is. But we needed electronic timing because we were so close. And I didn't want to beat him because Jeffrey Goddard pressed his clock 1 second too late. I lost because he did it. And when we looked back at it, it was, I genuinely won, and Jeffrey genuinely came second by 0.0 something of a second measured on, when you're measuring it on video. So it was less than a frame, the difference, but it was, instead of it being quarters of 0.4 of a second in his favor, it was like 0.04 of a second in my favor. And that was when we said we need electronic timing, because we didn't know before if it was the other way. And we're so close. And we're driving the same cars. So it's a hell of a bragging right. When you're driving the same car as somebody, beating them in the same car is a bragging right among the top drivers.
Trust me, I know. Especially when the car belongs to them.
Yeah. So Jeffrey, at one event, I'm the forklift driver, so I drive with one hand, which when you drive with me, you'll see that one hand is on the steering wheel, and I'm one-handed and huh? Yeah.
So you're one hand.
But Jeffrey calls me forklift driver. So the forklift, you have a little thing and a knob that you go around. But I remember Jeffrey beat me at an event, Bushy Park. He beat me by, this was the biggest gap that we've had in probably 4 years of competing against each other. Biggest gap, 0.5 something of a second. It wasn't now below the 0.5, it was just above the 0.5. And I'm looking back at the tape because I'm trying to figure out what happened. How did he beat me? Come on, man. That's a hell of a gap. That's a hell of a gap. Two things he did. One, he left the start line harder than I did. And when he came into the stop box, full sideways. This is where we're talking about the art of driving. The art of driving is understanding everything. Art of anything is understanding everything. The layers that go into the final thing. So he realized that the timing equipment works after the beam reconnects, not when you break the beam.
Oh.
So, people think it's where you break the beam, it starts. No, when it reconnects. The timing equipment you use is when it now gets back the beam, it says, okay, it's broken and it's starting back. So the start point is when it comes back in.
Yeah.
So he would actually, and I'm giving away tricks here. All of you guys who do autocross or do any kind of racing, I'm giving you some tricks here. He would stay a little bit further from the start line. On that one, he stayed a little bit further from the start line. He went as far back as they would allow him. So when he moved off, his terminal speed, when it broke the beam, was slightly faster, maybe a mile per hour or 2 miles per hour faster than Mike, than in the same car. So when he started with a jump start. Nothing illegal about it. So this is not me putting him down. Again, this is a lesson. But the only reason I figured it out was because I was reviewing tape. And when he would come into the box, you have, let's say, a 12-foot car.
Yeah. You know,
But he will come in sideways, and a car is 6.5, 6 feet wide. So instead of having a 12-foot time for the beam to break back, he's now carrying that down to probably 8 feet because the car is sideways coming in. That was where he beat me by, that was accounted for probably 0.25 to 0.3 of a second. Again, you see how we're scientific and we actually go down here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, that's not the reason he won, because now that's within our normal difference of time. You know what the bugger was doing inside the vehicle? Jeffrey is one of the most erratic, all over the place, two-hand drivers you can find. Love it to death. And this is the thing, it doesn't really matter what the driving style was. We're driving the same cars and we're pretty much on the same second every single time, every single run. So driving styles is what suits you, what suits me. But again, it's understanding, because your dexterity, how you control your limbs is different from how I control mine.
Yeah.
So I can't drive like you, you can't drive like me, but we can almost come up with the same time. Jeffrey, I look inside the in-car video and I see Jeffrey doing this. Hand on the gear lever like me, catching, looking like a Honda driver, almost want to lean back and, hey, what's up, when he's passing the marshals. I'm like, this bugger, you know what he's doing? The man steal my driving style. I call him and I say, you little bitch. Sorry, I'm not supposed to say that there. I say, you. He says his exact words to me, because he knows the times when I would be reviewing tape. He says, you watched the tape, didn't you? Jeffrey knew. He knew that I would see it. He knew that I would see that. He's like, you watched the tape, didn't you? I'm like, yeah, I did. And I can't be upset. I cannot be upset at all. Because he looked back and said, the same question I asked, why did you beat me? You know what he looked back and said? Why did Teach beat me? Let me try and do what Teach did and see if it works. And that was his other quarter second. Not that they basically know, if we competed after that, we were literally 0.1 of a second, because at that point, he knew my driving style, I knew his. I had to use his best traits. He was using my best traits. At the end of the day, that's what competition is about. So you asked at the beginning of the podcast, or you said the myth, the legend, whatever, and it's how I got here is by being disrespected. By being disrespected to the point where you have to pack up and go home, or put up and show it. Like, you have to showcase what you're saying.
It's funny, that's exactly how this page became a thing.
What's that?
I said it's funny because that's exactly how this page became a thing.
Yeah. And it's something that you genuinely have to keep on pushing on.
Yeah.
So Richie Rary, Stratty King, and David Ball, Montego Bay's best products of racing family, best racing family there is, out of Montego Bay, Jamaica. Richie Rary is what we call a super champion. I'll get into that in a bit. But Richie said to me, Richie, Stratty, and David Ball. My wife's family is lived in Mobay. So I'd be down there, and while, I'm hanging out with my racing buddies when we're down there. And I was up at Richie and Stratty's house, and they said to me, candidly, nobody is going to respect you. By then, Teach had stuck. Nobody's going to respect your Teach. This was in 2002, November 2002, or October, November 2002. Nobody is going to respect you unless you have a championship, a major championship behind your name. I already had dexterity champions, I already won a sprint championship. So I explained that. I said, but look what I've done, and I'm not driving again, a 71 horsepower tuned, and I'm doing these things. You couldn't beat me at a dexterity. They said, yeah, that's all well and good, but you have to win something big. You have to win something big. And no matter how I explained it, I then took the lesson from it. And the lesson is, you're no one unless you prove yourself. The disrespect of them telling me, and I'm I'm beating everybody. If you and me drive the same car, mind you, Christian was a year before, so I had learned from them, like a year and a half before. So I had already learned from that event
Yeah.
that you drive it. If you put it into a ball, try. If you're going mashed up, but don't drive like a biatch. And anyway, so that was 2002. 2003, 2002 December, I took a Peugeot 206 GTI out of I was managing the Peugeot dealership at the time, running the Peugeot dealership. I took one out of Bond, I put a roll cage in it, and I went and did Rally Jamaica. Stock car, absolutely stock. Stock suspension, water suspension, all everything. It came the week after the event. Murphy's Law, it always comes the week after the event. But did well, and I remember the thing, and closer to Christmas, I went home and told Debbie, I'm going for the overall championship next year, and she laughed after me. My wife. She said, in what? So the plan was to build up now and figure out, okay, how am I going to win this championship in a stock car that literally I took it out of the Bond, cleared it, put license plate on it, put a sump guard on it, and went racing. So the following year, we started off the year. Jamaica's season is, first half is tarmac, second half is dirt, because Rally Jamaica is dirt. So instead of having mixed up, and because you're almost always going from one setup to another setup to another set. So they said, we're going to keep it in tarmac setup up to June, and July on is dirt setup. So it helped the racers do whatever it is.
Smart.
Yeah, really good. So after Rally Jamaica, you kind of put on your tarmac stuff and you go. So it started off tarmac. First event was a dexterity. I won the event. Max points. Gary Gregg. So I was in my class. Classes were non-limited slip. Max points out of the class because you get from class championship. Gary Gregg won his class. Max points. Dean Carrodus won his class. Was it Dean or Strat? Anyway, there were like 6 or 7 of us going for the championship that year. We were going to do all the events, all 17 events. We were going to do
17.
17. Wow. So our championship is over 17 events. Mixed. So it was dexterities, which is like autocross, sprints, and rallies.
And this is for like the entire year.
For the entire year. So you and there's no drop events, no nothing. So you have to do all 17. You don't have to, but
it's way different how they do it over here.
Way different. So, but it's literally every single event. So we're talking about 17 events. Remember I spoke about Richie Rary, who I call Super Champ? So at that point, Richie Rary had won the championship 3 times. The last 2 times he won the championship, there was not 17 events. It was autocross, dexterities, which is the same thing, sprints, rallies, and circuit racing. All of that went into your championship. He and John Ralston and some of the other guys who won back then had to do 22 events to win the championship.
And it was like all those different types of disciplines. We need something like that here.
So we're talking when you're considered a national champion in Jamaica, you are multidisciplined. It's not from one discipline. You literally are multidisciplined.
Wow.
So when Richie won it twice with 22 events, listen, man.
That's a driver.
Super champ.
That's a driver.
That's why I literally, if Richie were to walk up here now, Richie would tell you. He always tells me stop, but I do it. I clean his shoes. I do. Because respect is due. Again, but this is the same guy who told me, Teach, nobody's going to respect you until you win something. Anyway, so that carries him back now to 2003.
Yeah.
So Ian Gibson, who raced in Barbados with a 309 GTI, factory Peugeot 309 from France. He's a Jamaican. Good friends also. We're Peugeot guys, so good friends. I bought his old race car and took all of his parts off of the Peugeot 309. He went from a 309 to like 2 generations since then. And literally, I was surprised. The brakes fit on my car, the suspension fit on my car, few little modifications. The gearbox, I just had to take off my bell housing and stuff. So halfway through the tarmac season, I'd gone from, shit, this is going to be a hard championship to win, to, oh my God, this car is fast. Didn't modify it. I had bought a Richard Longman engine and put it in, but I didn't buy all the bits. It wasn't the super fast one. But I put everything together, and where it ended up is by the end of the tarmac season, 6 of us out of the 7 or 8, or it's a 7 or 8 who had gone for this. 6 of us were pretty much within 1 win of each other.
Wow.
So we've come out of that. And then so we went into dirt season now. Now the difference between tarmac and dirt is tarmac is 90% car. Dirt is 90% driver. So all my goal, which I told my wife, is I just need to make it out of the tarmac season with a sliver of a cent that I can win the championship, because when it goes to dirt, I'm winning every event. You walk, again, you call your future out, right? You have to call it, but you have to work at it. So
When you know, you know.
when you know you work at making sure it comes to fruition. People,
Well, yeah. The work is part of knowing it.
yeah. LeBron James, Michael Jordan, all of those guys, you see them on the court and you think that is good, or you don't see that they're up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning doing stuff. And I'm going to give you an idea of how that helps me too.
Yeah.
So again, my name is Teach. I have a driving school.
Yeah.
Hold on, I have a driving school. Hold on, I have a driving school. And I have a whole following that if I say I'm having a course this weekend, I will have people coming.
Yeah.
And I teach auto driving. And the only way to know more about stuff is, I need to drive different vehicles. So I changed that year, I changed how I operated my driving school. I was no longer using my vehicle for other people to learn off. I was using your vehicle. No matter what it was, it could be a Suzuki Jimny, it could be a Evolution 6 or whatever you had at the time, it didn't matter. But what it gave me was every weekend and sometimes during the week, I was driving different vehicles and having to teach people the art of driving. So my mental capacity for understanding vehicle dynamics, all of those things in different drivetrains just went through the roof.
It's funny you say that, because we've just been telling ourselves the next evolution of our content creation is we want to start actually driving and talking about vehicles from a driver's perspective, not just, showing other people's journey, but, here's these vehicles through our eyes.
Yeah.
So it's funny that you bring up your experiences getting to learn from different vehicles.
And that's the only way, because everything is theory until you put it into practice, right?
Yeah.
So I'm theoretically telling you how to drive your 4-wheel drive. But I need seat time. So the way I get better is seat time. The way you play basketball and get better and at shooting hoops is shoot the bloody hoop.
Yeah.
And the only way you get better at shooting hoops under pressure is shooting the hoops under pressure. But if you shoot the hoop under pressure, you have to put yourself in a situation that puts you under pressure. So I trained myself for years. Every time I would drive to the country, I would drive with my left hand or my right hand, forklifting, so that I could drive with one. I would drive and I would say everything from now, like the next hour of driving is push-pull. So I'm driving in a specific style and I'm literally training myself. I'm training myself to be shifting. I can drive without a clutch in any vehicle. Up, down, and you will never, it will almost sound like somebody else is driving, but that is years of training myself. I'm driving here for 4 hours to Negril, no clutch, no nothing. You're coming down a hill, you have to flip and get it right in, boop, boop, boop. To the point where I didn't even use the clutch to move off. You let the car stall and you have to start it with the starter and you move off. Like literally there was no clutch. It's a discipline of it doesn't exist.
It's a different level of detail.
It's a different level of dedication. So the dedication to being successful is you have to know more than the competition, and you have to be able to execute more of what you know than the competition. I may know more about something than you do, but I only can execute half. You may know 70% of what I know, but you can execute everything. You are already 20% more than me.
I relate to that because I know a lot more about cars than Liam does, but yeah, he executes way more than I can.
And the moment you learn to execute, you will know, see, because you're seeing things ahead. Simple thing. You don't, which I think you know. I tighten my own lug nuts on the vehicle. Every race car I have before I go out, I tighten my own lug nuts. They're not slack.
Yeah.
It's just that I know that if I feel a wobble, it's not the wheel falling off. In other words, I will write that backside off trying to win, knowing that the wheels will not fall off. So it's just my own little mental thing. But that's the thing. It's about putting yourself. So I use my driving school. I'm what you call. My father was a military man, commanding officer in the Coast Guard and the Air Wing.
Oh.
So what do you call it? Middle class broke. No money, but because you work with government at that level, you have nice things, but you have no cash. So me wanting to get into racing, I had no family money. My uncle raced in the States professionally until one of the Andretti's, not calling name, hit him out of a race because there's no black guy who's going to be beating him. A Formula 2000 race, broke his hip, end of his career. He was beating everybody. That's my mentor. No money. Ran on sponsorship. He used to race for I don't know if you guys know about the Eagle Talon.
Yeah.
So he was a factory racer for the Eagle Talons in the series they were doing. He raced for Ferrari. He raced, but obviously that winds up after you break your hip and things start to go wrong. Anyway, so.
And that was your uncle, you said?
My uncle.
Yeah.
So, but I had the experience of somebody who raced at that level, just didn't have the money.
Right.
So I had to find a way to afford my advantages. And I'm going to repeat that. I don't have money. One of the most expensive sports in the world, but I'm still using the word advantages. I had to find a way to afford my advantages. My advantage is that I have a father who is at the top of the military, so I have a disciplined upbringing. That's an advantage.
Yeah.
I have an uncle who raced at the highest level. That's an advantage. We can't afford the vehicle to do it. That's a disadvantage. So, but I need to find a way to afford my advantage. So that's part of the reason for getting to school. That's part of the reason I genuinely am a naturally talented person, but natural talent would carry me maybe to the podium, maybe to a podium.
Yeah.
And that's a high maybe. A natural talent carries you somewhere. It's what you do with it that carries you everywhere else you go. So the history of me getting into the sport is, as I said, from a point of disrespect. And if it ever happens again, I probably wouldn't change one thing. Because all that disrespect was needed to make me the human I am today, the person I am today, the race I am today. If everybody gave me the opportunity when I said, yeah, let me come and do it, I would have felt like I had already arrived. Holy crap, I just get into the sport at 23 years old. It's younger than that, but I mean, I'm just doing this, and at 23-year-old, everybody's making me feel like I arrived. I don't know. I'm almost, okay, I'm unstoppable. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
But because of that, and because I had people like a Richie Rary, and like a David Somerville, and I have a story with David Somerville, like a John Ralston, like a Desmond Panton, one of my sponsors, like an Andrew Badan, one of my sponsors, like the people who believed enough in me to give me either very honest feedback, very good understanding of dynamics, their own training coming back to me. I was able to take the advantages that most other people didn't have, and I put myself in situations. So I would take David Somerville. David Somerville is the top racer in the Caribbean. He's also won SCCA Rally Championship, the whole championship.
He was in CMRC, right?
He was in CMRC.
Which car was he?
Evolution. So.
Right.
Yeah. So, but he is one of them generational talents that is there. So we started riding bikes together. So I started off on motorcycles, which is why I see more. Anybody who rides a motorcycle first and then goes into motorsport sees more than anybody else. Fraser McConnell used to ride motorcycles around his farm.
Oh.
He's now our top rally guy in the world. Why? Because he's seen, by the time you see it, he's already seen it, assessed it, and figured out what he's going to do, and he's on to the next thing. Because on a motorcycle, if you're on a car, if you lock up your brakes, you skid. On a motorcycle, you lock up your brakes, you're on the ground, you're hurt. just that clear definition changes how you're now trying to see things so far in advance that you think. So they used to race with David and Rouge Misser, two of my really good buddies. I used to race with David and Rouge Misser, and plenty of stories I can give you. I won't give you that one. Then I got into the cars, and David allowed me the opportunity to set up some of his race cars. And one of them was a Mitsubishi Mavec for the Mavec Cup. So driving down to the country in the Mavec, and he says, "You drive." So now I am left seat, young, I think 24, 25 at the time. David is right seat, sitting down. Sorry, I am right seat, he's left seat, and we're driving down to the country. And I have the air for 2.5 hours, and he has a student for 2.5 hours. Hello? We sucked everything in.
Yeah.
One of the things that he said to me, a couple of things he said to me, but one that stuck with me from then is, when you brake, you are to get to the braking point and don't touch the brake. You are to say, "Oh shit," and don't touch the brake. On your second "oh shit," you're going to fight the urge to touch the brake. Then you touch the brake. And that's your new default braking point. Because we're going on for circuit racing. So this is where he was talking about what his tactic is.
Yeah.
You need to scare yourself in the car. If you're not scaring yourself in the car, you're not going fast enough. I repeat that. You need to scare yourself in the car. If you're not scaring yourself, you're not going fast enough.
That's real.
So if you're in the car with me, you are going to be scared, because I'm scaring me. Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's not, so these aren't big lessons, you know. Liam, this is not and Nicola, this is not a big lesson. This is little lessons. And everybody you meet is going to tell you the little things. One guy said to me at an event in Montego Bay, "You need to use less left foot braking." I'm a left foot braking king. Like, I drive with.
I believe in that.
Yeah, but I carry it to an art. I literally carry it to an art. And I'm not bragging about this, because I've spent years developing this skill. This is not just because I understand it to do it. I've spent probably in practice thousands of hours just practicing different techniques with left foot braking and what you do and how it works. Even in cars with brake override, where if you get on the accelerator, you get on the brake, the accelerator cuts. I've learned how to trick the computer and all. I mean, it's all innate. It's all. The challenge you have is that sometimes you get to the point where you think you know everything. It is when somebody says to you, "You should be doing it less." On the day I said to the person, "Dude, I beat it by like 4.5 seconds. You want me to come off the brake?" So he's saying I'm braking too much. And I said, "I beat it by 4 seconds. This is actually at a different Moorlands event, but down in Moorlands." Yeah. And I said, "You want me to come off the brake?"
Yeah.
Big laugh, everybody around there, it was thing. You see, on the way home, I thought about it. You see, the next year when we went back to the same track, I actually used less brake. And I went back to him and I said, "I disrespected you last year in public. It was a good laugh. You even took it, but thank you." Because again, somebody tells you something and you can take it like, "Who is this, like this idiot, I don't beat you, da da da." No. Laugh in the moment, take it in your head, and go and think about it on your own. If you're going to laugh in the moment, don't say it's the wrong thing. He saw something I wasn't seeing. The reason why he was saying, and so I went back and reviewed tape, the reason why he was saying drive with less brake is because I was actually over braking for the condition. Very late, very everything, but I was over braking. And it wasn't that I was over braking, is that my driving style allows me to carry more speed at the apex than most other people. So he saw me at the apex, and in his mind, because we spoke about it the following year. I was too slow at the apex. It wasn't the braking zone I was too slow at. So it wasn't that I was to not use the left foot braking. I would now start to bleed off a little bit earlier and carry more speed to the apex. That's a lesson that I've taken from then. So this would have been 2004, maybe. And I've taken that down. This would have been 2002. And I've taken that, no lie, 2001. And I've taken that lesson.
Okay.
We spoke to him in 2002. He said it in 2001. I've taken that lesson still today. So this is why I said, don't forget anything that anybody tells you at any point. It's going to be the most amazing thing. You take it through your life. And so, you know, when you have mentors and people around you, like a David Somerville, a John Ralston, a Stratty King, a Richie Rary, and a Stratty King had no filter, which is what you need in your life. You need people with no filter.
This is for you. This is a sample of some of the minis.
Thank you.
Not our sausage roll, but these are the sweet. Just a sample
So
of some of these.
this is what you do when you're actually on film.
Oh, wow.
When you are here at Heyman's and they see you in the back of a truck doing podcasts with the fellas, they bring you snacks. So this is from the Cliff.
Shout out to the
three-wheel-
Cliff Bakery.
Yeah, shout out to the Cliff Baker, the little 3-wheel vehicle. Come stick your head in and say hi so they can see the face.
How are you doing, guys? So this is our sample of our minis, sample of our sweet. So here we have a mini croissant, mini pain au raisin, mini Danish, and a mini chocolate swirl. So if you don't want the big ones, you can just have a nice collection like that.
This is not staged, by the way.
Not at all.
I think what happens is that he saw us looking like we were about to die. And brought it. He actually didn't know.
Off-road. A little nourishment for the off-road.
Yeah, but thank you.
Enjoy.
Thank you. Yeah, that was good. That was cool. Yeah. So to surmise why I am who I am, it comes from a point where I've taken everything anybody has ever said to me about me, the good, the bad, the indifferent, the accolades, the disrespectful moments, and used it as a learning opportunity to how can I make myself better? How can I execute better? How can my outcome be better? And I'm also, just in case you haven't noticed, I'm very arrogant.
Ah, I would have never thought.
You never thought. and I am naturally so. I am very confident. I'm very comfortable in my confidence.
Yeah.
And the one thing I don't mind people saying, you may not like me, but you can never not respect me. You may think I talk too much or I talk too brass or I put other people down. I'm not putting you down. I'm telling you the truth because people told me the truth. It's what you do with it. Again, I'm coming back to the people who disrespected me the most. I love it. I would want them to do exactly the same thing because it made me a better person. I need, with my arrogance, for you to know that you can call me arrogant, but you can never prove me wrong. If I tell you I'm the best, you come with the A game. You may be able to beat me, but you're not beating me the same way twice. So if you win today, just know that I have it on tape because I would have friends like Liam and Nicolo who are out there with a video camera filming it from the outside, me and the competition, so that I'm learning from you. Because if you beat me, I'm going to learn from you and do what I'm going to try because of how my brain is to do what you do better than you do it.
I'm curious, was there like a turning point when you started to see the disrespect as a positive rather than a negative? Whereas your mindset shifted, or did you always have that mindset where it's like, I'm going to take, someone's criticism and just turn it into fuel and make myself the best I possibly can?
Yeah, two things. It's actually three. I'm going to go back years before.
Yeah.
Rouge Messier, David Somerville, wealthy families could afford more than I could afford. And I'm not calling them out for the wealth. That's just what I'm doing.
We love wealth.
And I used to ride motorcycles. They had good equipment. I had really crappy equipment.
Right.
And if my crappy equipment went down, which went down a lot, I was never sidelined. It's just ride mine. Or ride. For example, Ruji, if Kush, his younger brother, didn't show up for a race, he used
Yeah.
to park your bike and ride Kush's. Thanks, Kush. But ride Kush's motorcycle.
Yeah.
David would never stop me from being around him with the pit crew and all that. Turning point on that is be the person in the group. It taught me that you need to surround yourself with the right people. Because there are also other people who I couldn't even touch the motorcycle, couldn't even do all of that. So you surround yourself with the right people, but you respect them for. I never went there once assuming I would get to use their equipment. And I was very grateful every time I got to use the equipment. But I would prepare mine as best as possible. So that's one.
Yeah.
And that's a life lesson, real life lesson. Trust the people, trust your circle, but make sure you are in the right circle. 2, the conversation that I had with David Ball, Richie Rary, and Stratty King at their house/garage, when they said to me, no matter how good you think you are, until you prove it by winning something big, nobody is going to take you seriously. And it came from 3 of the people I respect, 3 of the people who are on the top tier of people I respected in the sport. It cut me. It cut me like a knife. But they were not wrong. That led to 1 year later. 1 year later, remember I said we went into the dirt season?
Yeah.
1 year later, last dirt event, guess where? Back at Moorlands, the same track. Moorlands, same track out there. Gary, Greg, and myself it was kind of, at that point, it trickled down to about 3 or 4 of us who could win the championship. This was the second to last event. The last event for the year is Rally Jamaica. Rally Jamaica, each day counts as an event. So it was now 3 events left. The sprint in Moorlands, Rally Jamaica Day 1, Rally Jamaica Day 2, and it's the top points from all of that gives you your championship. Gary and I went in to the second to last event, below 1 win to each other. So you had the first top points was 150 points, then 150, then 110, then 90. That was the point. So we were within that first thing. So whoever came out on top would go into Rally Jamaica at the top of the table. Gary's Gary's crew chief, Peter Moody Sr., which is one of the biggest names in motorsport in the Caribbean. Peter Moody Sr. said, well, he's only Teach. Again, the disrespect. He's only Teach. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to drive your Mavic, because I was in the 2-wheel drive class. Gary was winning the 4-wheel drive class. But if I won and he won, we literally were going into Rally Jamaica with me having the advantage. I think by then I was a nose ahead, with me having the advantage. So he said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to drive the Mavic, which was the fastest 2-wheel drive rally car in the country at the time by a mile. We're going to drive that car. You will win. I will come second, and Teach. The most Teach can get is third. The most Teach can get is third. And I caught wind of this. That whole week leading up to the event, nobody knows how much mental and physical preparation I put into that. And I got that car dialed into exactly what it was. Slow. It is overweight. It's 2,100 pounds versus 1,600 pounds or something like that. It's 90 horsepower. 170 horsepower versus like 210 horsepower. So it's completely different.
Jeez.
Gary is the driver of drivers at the time. I am just Teach. So now I have a mental thing. Richie Rary had a track record at that track for 2-wheel drive. That stood for 7 years. At the end of that event, I not only beat Peter Moody, beat Gary Gregg, but I broke the 7-year-old 2-wheel drive track record at the event. And that event, forget about me winning the championship at the end of the year. So I'm 2003 National Drivers Champion, won Rally Jamaica that year, 2-wheel drive. Won the two-wheel drive outright, won the class, did everything, you know. I am the boss. That event, I get emotional with it. That event put me on the map because it wasn't that I took out Peter Moody. It wasn't that I took out Gary Gregg at that event. It was that I took them out in the fastest two-wheel drive rally car at the time that they took out of retirement to come and race me. They had no problem with the car that day. It was a legitimate race. It was a legitimate head-to-head with three of the country's best racers. And as a youngster, I took the disrespect and made it a respect moment. And that put me on the map. But the reason why I say that is damn well know that Richie Rary, Stratty King, and David Ball's conversation with me rang through my head every single time I came off the throttle. So I didn't come off the throttle. Do you know what was playing in my car every race? Yes, the car had radio, big stereo system, everything.
Wow.
Eminem's Lose Yourself.
Oh my God.
That took me through the dirt season, but on that event, that was playing in the car while I was racing. On repeat. You only get one shot. You only get one shot. And that was my shot, and I took it. But a lot of people think that it was that made me the race I am today. No. That was just the proof that everything that I'd put in from 1997 to 1998 really in training myself to be a better person, better human, better racer, better competitor, better everything, that's where it is. That was me. And yeah, I know it's a lot. I have a whole lot of history.
No,
but that for me,
this is why we need to get you on the podcast.
You asked if there were any fundamental moments in my life. There are so many, but those are some of the key ones. And then the biggest, I think my biggest, and I'm not self-praising here, but my biggest win as a racer came in 2006 when Stephen Gunter asked me, said, hey, we want to do a streetcar class at Dover. Can I take up? Can I run it? Can it be mine? Take it and do with it what you must. And I said,
So
all
he
right.
put you in charge of that?
So I was in charge of that. But
wow.
Everybody had to get trained by me before they could go into street class. So it was a business / it was a commercial arrangement.
Yeah.
I got to train the people. People got their first event free at Dover, but it was Stephen Gunter and Mark Evans. And let me not forget Mark, I know it was you as well. So Stephen Gunter and Mark Evans wanting to build the sport. So they reached out to me and said, because we're all on the same committees, and said, you have a driving school, these people need to come in, do the driving school, blah, blah, blah. So they allowed me carte blanche. 2006, we did it. 2006, we came up with what we call IP45, streetcar class. And that led to literally from 2006 moving on, I can say at least half of all racers, so of all champions, and 40% of all racers came through my program immediately after that. The biggest growth in competitors we saw, we literally had to expand the pits at Dover Raceway to accommodate the amount of cars. And I had persons who did 2 events and then went and bought a race car. So they were now moving from the streetcar class into because they got the taste. The whole idea was to give them the taste.
Yeah.
We have Stephen Bansi, who did IP45 for, I think, half a season, 3 events. And by the 4th event, he was roll caged up and racing and won the championship the following year.
Wow.
So we're talking that kind of thing. 2007 took it one step further. 2007, I started JamSpeed Adrenaline Rush, which is a TV program, a reality TV show about 40 race car drivers trying to get on a race team, with the prize being Rally Barbados and Rally Jamaica. So they got to come to Barbados and do Rally Barbados and then finish the season and do Rally Thing.
Huh.
And it was guaranteed one male and one female winner. And the person who came second, the person who won the male was second in the overall championship in Jamaica at the end of the year, rookie year. And the woman who won was a female champion that year and the following year. And then we did it again in 2008. And so these are the, the accolades that you're saying the myth, the legend, To me, the biggest contribution I have done to the sport is because I was disrespected, because I used motorsport training to build my own place, because I now had hundreds and then thousands of young enthusiasts, or old enthusiasts too, who wanted to get trained, coming through, is building the next generation of the sport literally from the ground up, because Stephen Gunter, Mark Evans believed in me enough by 2006 to give me the keys to the future of the sport. No questions asked. David Somerville backed me in that as well. And if I would have guest instructors sometimes, and David would be one of them. So when I say it was like an amazing opportunity to see the young the enthusiastic become enthusiasts, become participants. That's everything that I've done has led me to be same in the sport. That is what I want to be remembered as the most. Best driver, undeniably. But the person who brought more humans into the sport, individually, and gave them the right foundation, the art in the foundation, so that they could grow, become champions, become podcasters, become pundits, become organizers. That's what I like and really cherish the most about things. And then there's one other human who I have to mention, who no matter what I did, no matter what, there's two of them, and both of them name is Andrew. No matter what I did, if I made a phone call, I need support, yep. No questions asked. Andrew Jackson from a company called JetCon Corporation, used car dealers, and Andrew Badan from Tire Warehouse in Jamaica. The guys supported me in everything I've done for my entire career. And even now, we speak almost every month, at least now. And we're even doing some business together now. But it's that kind of history that, again, I have a lot. I'm a lot older than I look. You all want to look like this when you're 50. But the idea is, because I've been through, I'm happy to pass on so that the next generation doesn't have a challenge. So you want to borrow my car? Race car? All right. You've seen me lend out my car. Don't care.
I remember you let me drive your Bimaka back to the shop at Elliot's after we were competing at Vaucluse.
And you were supposed to come and actually drive it up.
Yeah, and then I had issues, so I didn't work out.
So, but it's the kind of things where, again, that comes from Ruji and David being grateful to me when I was younger. I never had the equipment, but theirs was always open for me. As long as it was open, it was always open for me to use. How can I not pass that on to the next generation?
Yeah,
that's community. And to be honest, I hope what everybody gets from this discussion today is the passion that you see me have is not, you may think of it as coming from a place of arrogance, but it's not selfish. It is not a selfish position, because I would not be where I was today had the community not wrapped itself around me and cheered me on or challenged me to be better.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I always say you can't race alone.
You can't what?
You can't race alone.
You can, but it's empty victories. I'm being
first place against nobody doesn't really hit.
It is empty. It is empty. If you're racing alone,
yeah,
it is empty. It's
the
cars.
Competition and the community.
It is cars. Remember when Chuck won?
Yeah.
cha-ching, and he's going on, and nobody. It's like, okay, where's the ethics in that? Where's the dignity in that? Where's it?
Yeah. Healthy competition is a beautiful thing. Like what you and Jeffrey have, where you can go back and forth, push each other further.
And one of the things that I would tell any young racer, any young person in life, it's a racing story, but it's a life lesson. So 2003, I won the championship. 2004, going into the dirt season, halfway through the dirt season, I'm leading the championship comfortably. Again, me, Gary, Greg going after it again. He was one. So I went in leading an event. Again, and when I say leading, it's slim margins. Everything is an event to each other. And dirt event, rally called Frome down in St. Elizabeth. And I was not winning the event. Dean Corodas was winning the event. But I was winning the class. What was it? I was winning whatever it was. I was winning my class. I wasn't winning two-wheel drive overall. And yeah, this was 2004. I wasn't winning two-wheel drive overall, but I was winning the class. And that was enough to garner me the points. But I was winning the class by a mile, like a truck mile. But we're still flat out. To race, to have that level of competition, and I was now saying, let me go and see if I can push and win two-wheel drive overall. Took out spare tire out the wheel, out the vehicle, get the vehicle, my car's overweight, get it nice and light, and it's a fast flowing off-road dirt. It's through cane fields. And got a flat tire halfway through, finished the stage, still I'd actually caught up, I think it was Dean, I'd caught up the person in front of us, because they had a problem on the stage. I didn't notice at the time. And leaving the stage, the tire shredded and cut the electrics. No spare. Tire shredded, cut the electrics, shredded. So every time I put the electrics back together, the car had a design where the electrics were on the outside by the wheel, and the shredded tire was just pulling it off. And I couldn't drive without a tire, I didn't have a spare. Now the rules then were dedicated service halts only. You can only use equipment or tools that are in the vehicle. This is Frome. This is out in the country. This is all I had to do was call my service crew and say, listen, drive past this location and throw the spare tire out the wheel, and I'll pick it up and put it on, and we still can make it back in with enough time. And I can go ahead and win the car, get the points. So remember, we're talking back-to-back championships I'm fighting for now. So there is reason for me. I'm now proving myself. I didn't just win the championship once. I won it twice in the 2 consecutive years in the slowest car. Imagine how that would have felt. Myself and Wayne look at each other and say, what we doing? We say we're out. Let's call the crew and tell them to pack up. The crew came. Nobody else was around. We packed up and went back to the service halt, and I went and checked it and said we're out the rally because we'd had to break the rule to remain in the rally. We took a calculated risk and failed. Now, we could have done it. We could have gone. But you think if I had done that, and that was the reason I won the 2004 championship, that would have been an empty victory. That's an unethical victory. And no, the only 3 people who would have known, well, 3, it was me, my co-driver, and my service crew. Only people who would have known. And the service crew did not know the rules. So they would have just thought it natural, normal. So it would have been myself and Wayne. And for Wayne Piper and myself to this day, cherish that moment as humans. Because with the biggest accolade that we would have had for ourselves at the time, we did not break our ethics.
You might have won, but you would have lost something more valuable than the win.
Internally.
Yeah, and that would have set you up for failure in the long term from their own.
Now, because of that, you can't cheat and beat me and get away with it. You ain't gonna get away with cheating. Like, I have given up the biggest personal sacrifice that nobody else would have known because I would have known I'm cheating.
Yeah.
So if you want to cheat, God help you, I'm gonna rat you out. Like, I really don't give 2 hoots at that point. You're not going to cheat and win.
Yeah.
And you're not going to come and even carry it into work. You're not going to take a sale or take a win or take a W by doing something unethical. If it's the difference between making it and losing it is opening your mouth and speaking the truth, speak the fucking truth. Pardon my French. Speak the truth. Speak the truth. Because you have to live with yourself after that. And so again, there's a lot of lessons that I've taken, and it's you need to be able to look into yourself and say, I have earned that, which is where we started at the beginning of this. I have earned my right to be called Teach. Or let me rephrase that. I have earned my right to be called Professor Mac. Not for Chris. And I'm trying to remember his name. I'm seeing it. And I used to lend the other guy my car to. Oh Lord, I'm seeing his face. I know exactly who he is and what it is. But with both of them stripping off Professor Mac off the back of a sticker. Nice font, yellow on a green. It was a green Hyundai, yellow. And they stripped it off. And for weeks, because I forgot to clean it, it had dirt marks where the Professor Mac was, because the thing.
Extra disrespect.
No, I needed that. I needed that. They did it out of flipping fun. But I needed that. So from that, I never earned my right to be called Professor Mac. Think I've earned it now, but by then Teach gone too far. But it's the pride I know that I've earned everything I have, and I've earned it with good people around me, people who don't like me, people who like me, and every single one contributed to the human I am today, the accolades I can boast of today, the man I am to my father, the father I am to my son, the person I am to people who just walk up and just say hi, the time I will give. Oh, sorry, one more. David Somerville.
Yeah.
The most loved racer in the Caribbean. There's nobody who's loved like David. David can't walk in Jamaica around anything in motorsports and not be bombarded. David would never, ever, 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 ever not talk to somebody. If you come and talk to him, he'll give you. And he will stop what he's doing and give you, even if it's 5 seconds, he's giving you his 5 seconds. That's a life lesson that I got from David. Because I was, one day we were real behind in the pits. And I said, David, you have to. He says, not yet. I'll be in the car. Put it on the grid. And he stayed with the fans, the young fans who were there. Because he was doing like almost every single race,
Yeah.
So he'd literally go in a car, jump out, go in a car, jump out. And from that day on, for the rest of the season, we just put the cars on the grid for him. So that he could, because now I knew. No matter which car it was, I'll just put it, me or somebody will just put it on the grid for him. Because he will walk to it and jump with it there. To him, it was more important for him to spend the time with the fans than to just drive the car to the grid himself. And that's a life lesson that he remembers when he was just an enthusiast. And he remembered what would have worked for him when his dad's friends would give him time. So he gives everybody time. And that is why you'll always see me give time to everybody, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
I'll have a conversation with you. I'll at least give you the 5 seconds, an undivided 5 seconds. If that's all I have, I'm going to give it to you undivided. And if I can't give it to you undivided, I'm going to ask you to hold so I can give it to you undivided. So surround yourself with the right people, and the world is your oyster. And everything else that comes in is going to be based off of #because motorsport. So because I was racing from I was a youngster on motorcycles, the ethics, the workload, the work that you have to put in the background to get the thing, the today's, tomorrow's, future way of thinking about this has transferred into what I do in the car. This Radara we're sitting in is the fastest selling pickup in the country right now. Why? Not because it's the best pickup it is, but it's not because it's the best, because I'm not going to make it number 2. Not that I may not end up at number 2, but I'm not going to end up at number 2 for the same reason twice.
Yeah.
Someone said last year we were number 3 in country. in 9 months, in under 9 months of selling these vehicles. And we were number 3 by 4 vehicles to the person who was second, and twice as many to the other companies that were fourth and below in our first year. That's because race car, because victories, because winning, and we've done it ethically. We have not broken any rules to get it there. We have not broken any. I sleep well at night knowing that we've done this legitimately off of the back of what the Chinese have built and what how we've put it to market.
Yeah.
Hashtag because race car.
I think we're almost an hour and a half, so I'm gonna ask you one more question, or maybe two. But first of all, what's the favorite race car you've driven?
Not mine. So remember I told you I've driven. It's a race car.
Yeah.
Right?
Race car.
Remember I've told you I've driven a lot of cars.
Yeah.
My favorite car ever. So can I start with my favorite car?
Yeah.
You know, I own a Mitsubishi, right?
Mm-hmm.
I used to run the Mitsubishi dealership for 4 years before I moved to Barbados. I'm a Mitsubishi man cut to the core.
Is it a BMW?
It was a Subaru Spec C. Subaru Spec C, owned by one of my students for IP45. It was the most amazing vehicle you could drive. It was the only Spec C that was a driver's, I think it was 2000, is that a 2001 or 2003 model? But it is a bona fide Spec C. You know, Subaru made like 100 different versions of the Impreza. This was the version that you needed to have. This was a Spec C you needed to have, this specific one. And I ran it, I was able to drive that vehicle back to back against that and an Evo 10 at the time. And the Evo 10 was faster, but Evo 10 was all electronic aids. The Subaru was, when I say fast, like slightly. Subaru was slightly behind it, with the most amazing, as a driver when I went into it and I could extract what was to come out of it. Oh my God. That was the first car that I can say from the factory was built perfect for a driver.
Yeah.
Best race car I have driven that I didn't own probably is Peter Bull Thompson's Mazda RX-7. Peter Bull Thompson.
That's a track spec car?
Track spec car.
Yeah.
Yeah. Peter Bull Thompson's car.
I don't think I'm familiar with that one. But
yeah, it's. I'll send you videos and pictures of all of that. I just hope I can find when I was driving it. You know, somebody had to film it, right? But that I think is the most. That's a solid car.
Do you remember what engine it was? A 2-rotor or 3-rotor?
It's a 3-rotor.
3-rotor. Oh.
2-rotor, 3-rotor. I'll find the specs and send you.
Yeah.
The second nicest race car I drove was actually that I didn't own. Was David Somerville's. He had an Acura from an Acura Cup in the US that he brought down.
Yeah.
Talk about like a perfect slow car. Remember, my Hyundai was 71 horsepower to the wheels, tuned. And I was winning rallies, I was winning events in this. Because I learned the only way to get that to go fast was there was no brake. Like you could not slow down because the moment you do this, it's another mile before you get back just the speed you lost.
Yep.
So that car taught me to drive FLAT, flat. So when I jumped into David's Acura, fast, slow car, like a real bona fide fast, slow car, oh my God. Light, the thing was probably 2 pounds. It was just perfect. And it had a big end, a proper Honda tuned engine in there. It was no exhaust. It was just beautiful. So as a driver, you jump in something like that, and a driver who thinks, I think I drive in physics. I actually drive the physics of the unit I'm in. So
Yeah.
if I'm in a rear wheel drive, front wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, I'm driving the physics of what I am. If I'm driving something that's heavy, light, I'm driving the physics of what it is. So when you jump into something now that the physics are all in your favor, I can pull myself out of a corner. I have no weight to pull out of the corner. I can do that. I can drive the ID line. I have the right tires on, like real gummy tires, even when they're cold. It's like, yeah, that was the nicest thing. So when you were tuning that vehicle, because I had the opportunity to tune it, that's the nicest vehicle. The nicest one. And I've driven others, but memorable were those. And you see, kind of coming back down from a driver's point of view, it's not how fast those
Yeah,
were.
yeah. That's why I wanted to hear your perspective.
And then
on
the
shoes.
vehicle that I think my two favorite vehicles were my Peugeot 206 station wagon race car.
Station wagon.
Yes, I had written off my Peugeot 206 that I won the champion with Kipin. Wrote it off at 125 miles per hour.
125.
Yeah, I won't tell that story this time. Come and talk to me about
We'll get
it
you for
another time.
part two. We've got a lot more.
And
to cover.
then yeah, so we can talk about the bad parts of racing, the things that you wish on no one at the next one, and we can bring a couple other people on, and because there are some times when it breaks you, and even when it doesn't happen to you, that it just you know. Anyway, so I wrote off that, and again I looked into our showroom. And I had a Peugeot station wagon. So I went and bought the Peugeot station wagon. And I put the roll cage in it. But I put we had a local built roll cage in the one I wrote off. Myself and my co-driver were this close to dying. Again, we'll tell you that on another day. So I went and I got a customs cages out of thing there. Their highest spec cage. They did a little modifications to fit that vehicle because it fit another vehicle. They had it for the 206, not the wagon, so they gave it to us. I got Adrian Linton from Barbados to fly up to Jamaica with his wife, and he installed the roll cage for me. I wanted the roll cage installed by somebody who'd install the most roll cages in the Caribbean, and that was Adrian. Adrian and I were friends by then. There was no any other person. Again, when you're this close to death, money for safety is no longer.
Yeah, you'll spend however much it takes.
So that car made my 206 GTI look like a bad handling car. The 206s were back happy. This had an extra foot and change at the back and more weight at the back, so it settled the back. It had a cage in there, and the suspension by then was, and just literally we took everything off of. I had enough spare parts and stuff that we put everything into this vehicle.
So you had the long tail version.
Yeah, and it actually came to Barbados.
Oh,
that was the car that, and I'll send you some videos so you can do the overlay. That was the car that made it into the TV show, and the winners got to drive that in Rally Barbados in 2007. So 2007 Peugeot 206 station wagon in Barbados. There were only 2 wagons in competition in the world. Mine was the first. I had another one after. And it was written off on, the guys ran off the road. Barbados, sloppy roads as usual, the slippery roads as usual. And they ran off the road 2 stages in stage 2 on day 1 and rolled the car. And that was ended. We rebuilt it. Rebuilt it and for Jamaica and stuff, and then I went and won Rally Jamaica with it the same year.
Oh, nice.
But no, I drove Rally Jamaica with it. They were in a Toyota Starlet by then and they won.
Yeah.
But that car was my favorite car as an owner to drive. But I think the most successful car that I have driven, even though that 206 carried me to the championship, was my Mitsubishi Lancer GT. Fat, overweight, slow. And I won 2 Rally Jamaicas with that, 2-wheel drive, back to back.
Wow.
Because, and on the second attempt, which was 2013, the year before I moved to Barbados, we won every single stage of Rally Barbados, of Rally Jamaica, against international and local competition of the highest level. And for the entire rally, I never turned the wheel more than this. That rally was a
It's
rally
quite
of
something.
physics. That was an event of physics. I'm going to find the footage and send to you. I drove that car with the rear. Front wheel drive car, I drove with the rear. My right hand was here. My left hand was on the gear lever. And my feet were dancing the whole time. And from the outside, you would just see the car turn. It didn't look pretty. I was beating men by 10 seconds on every single stage.
It's the bang was your friend.
It literally, the back, I was always pointing where I wanted to go.
I remember years ago seeing a Facebook post you made talking about the importance of weight transfer in rally driving.
Yep.
And I think you were the first person I really heard talk about that concept. And it's such an important thing.
Little things.
Yeah.
It's not the big things. Again, it's the little things. But when you have, like, to be honest, like the Chinese and how they're making vehicles now,
Yeah.
it's not that they've nailed the big things, you know. It's not that when you look at it, you're like, oh, everything about that, like they've nailed it. What they've done is they've nailed so much of the little things that by the time you start to look at the big things, you're like, okay.
Yeah, the
it's
details
already
really
there.
add up. Really
But that's a fundamental shift in how because they used to just give you want everything you give it, the quality now.
Hey,
This is gray. This is Volvo gray.
perfect timing.
Volvo gray. Very nice color. Good. Go in and sit down, man, and enjoy. Yeah,
You came at the right time as you were talking about it.
as I was talking about, yeah, but they literally have nailed so much. They've nailed the electronics, they've nailed the tractions, they've nailed the suspension, they've nailed the comfort, they've nailed. So how do you now compete against somebody who's nailing the little things? You have to nail more little things. When we're talking about, and if I'm great at 100% of stuff, but I execute well, like my execution is only on 50% of what I'm great at, that's good. But if you're great at 70% of what I do, but you're exceptional at executing 70% of like the whole 100% of that, you're still going to be better than me. Yeah. It's the little differences. That's again when we're talking about good, great, exceptional.
Yeah.
And to be exceptional is there, and it's a choice, by the way. This is my last sign off. I know you said we're out of time, guys.
No, I'm not rushing you.
Being exceptional, being great, being good, being average, being mediocre, being a loser, being a louse, being a jackass, being a this is a choice. Every single one of those things is a choice. If you choose to make today great, guess what today is going to be?
It's going to be great.
If you come and you disrupt my day, does that stop my day from being great?
Only if you let it.
Remember I spoke about surround yourself or put yourself in the circle you want to be in? Just remove yourself from that circle. Wake up every day feeling like today's a good day.
Yeah.
You have a happy Monday. When I was at CIBC, my entire team, when I come on our Monday morning calls and I'm like, happy Monday, they'll be like, stop it. I had one young lady who I used to call her out all the while. Because I would say, I'd actually call her and say, happy Monday. She's like, she did. So she got to the point where she didn't unmute her microphone until after my happy Monday stuff. We'd have hump day, which is the middle of the week. Hump day being the best day of the week. You should have gotten everything that you want to do. And the next, you're heading to Friday. So it's like the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
And then you have your happy Friday again. Happy Friday is the weekend is coming up. But it's a choice. It's a choice. Like everything is a choice. I choose to be happy. I choose to be successful. I choose to be better today than I was yesterday. I choose to sleep in. There's a repercussion for you choosing to sleep in.
I felt that on Monday.
I choose to be sick. Now, this is my Jamaican mumbo jumbo magic coming into thing here. But Jamaica has a saying, belief kill and belief cure.
It's true. I mean, we've proven it with the placebo effect.
Which one?
The placebo effect.
Yeah.
They tested. They take a fake drug and it'll still cure you if you think it's real.
Belief kills and belief cures. It is one of those things that if you believe you're the best, you could be. You have to execute. You have to know execute. So you have to know figure out how do I execute to be the best.
Yeah. But it starts up here.
But everything starts here. I go into a race, and if I go into the race and I'm like, Niccolo will beat me, and I genuinely believe Niccolo is going to beat me, I've already lost the event.
Yeah.
Mentally. I still may win, but mentally, I've started from a negative. I haven't looked at, shoot, I hope they put Niccolo to run ahead of me so I can see what Niccolo does, and then let me see if I can. So if Niccolo is taking that line, and that wasn't a line I thought, let me take it. You notice like at events, you see me walk the track. I would even walk the track multiple times. I'm already winning, By the time I walk the track, I'm already number one. Why am I walking the track again? Because I can do it better. Because I believe I can do it better, but I can't do it better by just thinking about it. I actually have to execute. I have to go now. So after 3 runs and you have a lunch break, and I'm coming back to before the 4th run, why not go and walk it again? Because now I know what it feels like. So when I'm walking it, I actually have a different perspective while I'm walking it. So this is a lesson to all you young people getting in. Anytime you get to walk a track, most importantly, after you've driven it, walk it. Because you're seeing it from a different lens. Because you've already experienced it. Now you're going to rewrite where you want to be and what you want to do.
I never thought of that. It's very interesting.
And that's the difference between great and exceptional.
Huh.
It's doing the stupid stuff because you can. Again, why not?
Yeah.
Fair enough?
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was a great podcast, but I think this is an exceptional one. Really a pleasure.
funny.
Really a pleasure. We've been wanting to get you on here, like he said, since we started this. So we're definitely gonna have to have you for a part 2.
There is a lot, and I genuinely thank you guys for having me on.
Of course. I know you're a busy guy, so the fact that we get to sit here and pick your brain for an hour plus, it's more than a pleasure.
And I'm looking forward to seeing if this gets any traction. Send it to me. I'll share it on my my socials as well.
Yeah.
But I'm really happy that you guys chose me for this, because I literally remember. Can I say it? When you couldn't jack a car.
I still can't.
I think I have video of that too. Anyway. But I literally remember when you guys were green, part of the circle that we were in.
Yeah.
Young people coming up to Jeffrey Olet's place while we were prepping the vehicle, just being around. And look where you are now. You're helping to spread the gospel of motorsport. And so keep it up. And remember, no matter what anybody says to you, take it.
Okay.
Ruminate on it. See if it has any value. You may just find that the person who says, blue is not your color, in jest. And I'm not saying blue is not your color. They actually look very good in blue. But I'm saying blue is not your color, in jest. You may just say, all right, let me try green. And you realize green had a different effect than even how you felt in the morning. It's not that you just try it. Somebody says, do something slightly different. What's it going to kill you just to try the slightly different? Even if it doesn't work, you've tried it, but you have respected the person's opinion enough to execute. So when you speak to them next time, you can actually genuinely say, I tried it, and it didn't work. And he or she can come back to you and say, yeah, you tried it. How did you try it? Oh, you mean, oh, no. You needed the other shoes when you were doing that, or you needed the other tool. Okay, so try it again with the other tool. And then now you start to get a conversation going about his experience, your experience. And you're now getting better at trying something different. And you just may end up adopting that as your long-term way of doing things, which started off from somebody just saying, try something different. And you're like, why would I? Again, I'm beating you by 4 seconds. You want me to come off the brake? It's different from the following year when I went to him and I said, sorry, it works.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling it here. I'll never be too big to go up and tell somebody you are wrong. And that you misunderstood something. Or you don't like them, but you appreciate them. They did you dirty, but you can respect them for stuff there. And don't worry if somebody doesn't like you. Say good morning with a smile. do everything, be pleasant, be all of that. Never make somebody ruin your day. And so I really like seeing you guys here now, sitting down here, about to partake in the snacks that we got. Is, for me, it feels like a full circle, because I know your first motorsport participating event was with the Jeffrey Olliott, Chris Mcfarlane circle.
Yeah.
And
You were there when I got my first ride in a race car.
Yep.
Jeffrey changed my life.
and it's a little appreciation that I have for the big things. Sorry, the big things that I have an appreciation for, that really were little things in the scheme of just that, but it has led us to wherever we are here and all of that. So I thank you. You guys keep on keeping on.
Yes. Real.
Don't stop.
All right. Well, thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
We're actually is off camera, but we're thinking about going to Jamaica this year. Actually,
Yeah.
try and cover some of the.
So they